Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another one of these pro replay casts. I can't get enough of Starcraft 2. Whether I'm having a hard time on the ladder or whether I'm on the streak of my life, casting, watching, viewing, it doesn't matter. Starcraft is good. And so we have got two players that I think are just going to create a great matchup here. We have got Elazer in the top left-hand side of the map, playing for Team Aggo or Team XCOM sponsored by Aggo. I always honestly have a hard time remembering. In the bottom right, we have Liquid MaNa. Liquid MaNa is one of the most enjoyable Protoss players to watch, I feel. He has very good runs. Like, I think as far as players go, you can never count MaNa out as far as Protoss players go. You never know what his form's going to be. And that's one of the things that makes him very exciting to watch, in my opinion. The reason for that being, basically, MaNa can basically take on anyone. There are other European Protoss players who kind of have their skill level determined. I think they're less likely to have, like, a big upset or a big run than MaNa is. And that's why I think MaNa versus Elazer in this match is sure the favorite for this Zerg versus Protoss. However, MaNa definitely can upset, definitely can take down Elazer, in my opinion. If we take a look, Elazer has got his third base, or, well, his second base building at his third because MaNa came in with an early probe for a scout. And then as far as the builds go, everything is just normal on both fronts. Zergs aren't thrown off by a probe, making them take a different base at all. And the probe of MaNa is just straight up being a jerk. Oh, getting kind of stabbed there by them big lobster claws that the Zerg drones have. Everything will be normal though. And yeah, I'm excited to see what sort of ZVP will play, because there is a fair bit of variation in the matchup at the minute, which does make it quite enjoyable to watch. MaNa's probe right now is pretending to be a drone, like, I'm totally one of you guys. Yeah. And then we see the probe just moving around, gonna be running away from those lings, likely. As the laser just sends those lings every which direction to try and scout out, make sure there's nothing too cheeky, I guess. Make sure that the Adept can be found, or whatever. Really, it's nothing significant. Looks like the Adept will run into one of those lings, but Elazer turns it around, so well done by him. And yeah, everything is normal. Looks like the Adept did manage to kill off that ling. Ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how this is a pro StarCraft 2 match with two top European players, let's try and hit 50 likes on this video, whether you're a MaNa fan, a Elazer fan, a Protoss fan, a Zerg fan, or a disgruntled Terran fan, because there's no Terran in this video. Hit that like button regardless. It's just, it's whatever, you know? And it does actually help out the channel, believe it or not. We take a look, we see the Adept scouting out for MaNa, basically just saying, alright, I'm keeping you honest, making sure there's no massling being made, no roaches crossing the map, no quick lair. Cinnamon spice and everything nice, and oh, look at this! We are going to be seeing a European do the build that Zest has recently popularized. I think it was Zest who popularized it. The 4-gate resonating glaive opening. Quite an odd build. For those of you that haven't watched the Africa World VODs that we put up on the channel, or I think they're up on the channel at this point anyway, it's hard to know. I'm quite ahead on my videos in case I have to go away for the summer or whatever. So, I'm just trying to get ahead, so that means there's a bit of a delay when I put up a video to how long till it hits the channel. We take a look, we see a Stalker will kill this Overlord. I mean, I get the feeling Elazer knows this. He sees 4 gates, he sees the research, he saw the Adept, so Elazer knows that this build is going to be pressuring him. But yeah, we see these Adepts shading across the map. Going to be getting picked up in that prism potentially, and then MaNa will warp in a few more, start up a third base at what should be good timing. A Dark Shrine will actually be the follow-up too, so potentially an Archon drop with DTs after that. The main thing about this build though is that it's not as committed as like an 8-gate Adept timing. That was a very lucky. Creep Tumor finished at the last possible second as the Adept shots were flying through the air, or about to fly through the air. Roaches are on the way for Elazer. He's just covering all of his bases as the Adepts are shading and bullying him. Looks like the Prism is getting shooed away a little bit, but yeah, so far, really good response from Elazer, shutting this attack down. MaNa can try and shade up, but there's simply too many units, so Elazer has forced a lot of units. Oh, that Prism taking a ton of damage. Gotta be careful with that, MaNa. Now, the next step is gonna be DTs to try and catch his opponent off guard, but we do see MaNa sending out that probe finally, or was planning on sending out that probe to start that third base up. He's gonna want to make sure he does get that on the way. And then we see these Adepts are just going to be running away from the roaches. Okay, Prism going to be unloading these Adepts, so they are going to find a little bit of damage. So far, no drone kills, though, because Elazer reacted perfectly, pulling away 3 injured drones. The DTs haven't actually warped in just yet, and that's a little bit odd, because there's no actual detection for Elazer. We are seeing the DTs warp in. The Prism could be under fire from this, though. Looks like the DTs are going to start pursuing the Queen, but someone's going to have to be left behind, essentially, and this Prism is dangerously low. MaNa could be losing quite a bit there if he loses those Adepts and the Prism. It looks like he didn't get any damage really done, though, with this attack, but he did keep his opponent down a bit. These Adepts are going to shade towards the natural to continue try and get something done, and it looks like this could actually be the first time that this is going to get something done, but oh no, big disaster for MaNa. Losing the Prism, so the DTs are trapped. The Adepts are getting lots of damage done at Elazer's natural. They're getting 10 drones. Like, one of the DTs made it out. MaNa maybe could have used a recall to try and get some units out, though, but look at this. This is so much damage getting done. Elazer held the first round of this attack, the first round of this harassment perfectly, but then just the Adepts come in a little bit later at the next stage, and all of a sudden, Elazer has lost 23 workers, which is a monstrous amount of damage that MaNa has got done. He does have his third on the way, although it is quite delayed. I'll say just around a 6:30 Nexus, which is late for the Protoss. Charges on the way. Elazer is going to have to drone back up to cover his losses. He doesn't have that much of a force to counterattack with, really, although he may try when he has Roach speed. MaNa, though, did get damage done. I think his third was a little bit delayed compared to other players doing this build. You want to start that up as soon as you can to try and get the best of both worlds, but this one was significantly delayed. We see MaNa starting to build up that Immortal count, getting sentries out. Looks like he's got observers even moving out on the map. The DT chilling at the 4th base, waiting to deny that. If Elazer expands there, but he doesn't. Elazer decides to expand to this location. Looks like MaNa is going to be moving out on the map. I get the feeling that this is just going to be to clear some creep, most likely. He does have a Prism with this, so he can warp in some Zealots to turn this into a proper attack. So maybe that's what he's going to go for, although with the lack of charge yet, with the lack of +1, I really don't think MaNa will be committing to an attack. He's just going to lift up his 2 Immortals in his Prism, try and find some damage. There's a chance he'll be able to cancel this base. I'd say not likely, though, as long as the Elazer reacts appropriately. Immortals deal a lot of damage, but not that much damage. The Immortals are going to bounce towards the natural base of Elazer, going to start targeting down some of these drones. The Immortals don't quite one-shot those drones due to their lack of +1. One of these Immortals for MaNa, a big mistake, not picking that Immortal up. I guess he probably thought he picked it up and then did not. That is a big mistake from MaNa. I mean, he killed off 8 drones, I believe, with the DT or with some Adepts, which was nice as this was going on, but you don't want to be losing an Immortal. Every Immortal is precious for a Protoss player. They are butterflies. Except they're very aggressive butterflies for Protoss. They are precious, though. Now we see this Observer spots Elazer's army chilling back. MaNa may need to be worried about aggression coming his way, so he's got shield batteries coming up. He does have Psystorm on the way. Does he have any High Templar? Now he's warping in his first High Templar, or his first few High Templar, actually. So he's going to have a good count of those to drop some Psystorm on his opponent. +1 melee is on the way for Elazer as well. This'll be good. It'll make his Banelings better. Presumably he is going to be getting Banelings. He does have that Baneling speed. And then we see a Spire, a Hive, so Elazer is going to be teching up. MaNa behind this getting up cannons, getting up a very nice gateway wall in order to help defend against a potential attack coming his way. It's like, I'm guessing the DT was picked off. MaNa still only on 3 bases, hasn't been able to take a third. He's just scouting out Elazer, seeing what his opponent has. I mean, that is a bit of a scary Zerg force. MaNa does have up a good immortal count. He's got Psystorm too, so there shouldn't be too much for him to worry about, and he is going to move out and take his 4th base. Prism spots the Hive starting, spots the Spire. This means the Elazer will potentially be going up to Broodlords, which is a bit of a scary tech for the Protoss player to have to deal with. Alright, Blink +2 attack on the way. MaNa is playing quite a nice ZVP, but it has been very passive beyond that initial aggression, and we are seeing Elazer, such a strong macro Zerg, has been able to balloon back up in supply. This is going to allow him to basically just get to a very, well, he's going to have a very strong army very early on in the game. Elazer isn't just going to be sitting back, though. He's getting up Overlords or Dropper Lords, potentially. Then the Spire on the way, +2. Adrenal Glands wants to have his upgrades rolling, get as many bases up as he can. He expands towards the bottom left. MaNa has a couple of High Templar and a Prism. What is he going to be doing with these boys? This is a little bit odd to have High Templar out on the map, but there's really nothing to shut him down. Is MaNa just going to Storm Drop Elazer's mineral line? Yes, he is! MaNa kills 12 drones with a 6 Storm Drop on Elazer's mineral line. That was absolutely worth it. Psystorm cuts through drones like a hot knife through butter. Beautifully done by MaNa. Now, MaNa has decided that this is what's going to... or Elazer has decided this is what's going to goad him into attacking. The 4th base is quite established for MaNa, but he doesn't have a lot of Psystorm. He's got 2 Templar at his 3rd base. Banelings are going to crash through. They are going to kill off that High Templar. There's also a Dropper Lord heading towards the main base. Banelings rolling towards the 4th. MaNa pulls some probes away. This was not cheap aggression by Elazer. That was a lot of Banelings that were killed in the process. And so not bad. MaNa's going to pull some probes away now from these Banelings wherever they land. They also don't have +2 attack just yet. Now they have +2, so they will actually one-shot these probes. A couple of Stalkers going to warp in, though, are going to set their sights on this Overlord, going to blink after it. They should be able to shut this down. Elazer just says, fine, I'll unload those wherever. Another drop coming towards the natural, but MaNa shuts that down. We also see MaNa has been getting up Stargates and a Fleet Beacon. I suppose this is in response to Elazer's Corruptors and potential Broodlords coming down the line. Prism gets picked off by Elazer as well. That is some nice damage, so both players are doing a good job defending each other's harassment. MaNa is sitting on 4 bases on a pretty healthy probe count. Probably going to want to wall this location off as soon as he can, because we all know how much of a lethal Zerg Elazer is with his Ling Bane. Even though he's tacking up to Broodlords, he will not halt aggression with mass Banelings, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Elazer has got 37 Banelings, which is no small amount. Probes could be in trouble as those Banes roll forward. They kill a High Templar, but there's more Banelings coming in. MaNa uses a Psystorm to clean those out. Does cost him some Storm. Elazer going to section off even more Banelings to go for this attack. Is MaNa paying attention? Yes, he is. A Psystorm. The High Templar pull back. Well done. So dealing with those Banes, which is not cheap for Elazer. So he's going to have to replace those, cutting into his bank. He is on a strong economy, though. Looks like MaNa had a counterattack, which has hit the 5th base of the Zerg, gonna pull Elazer's army away. All these Banelings are still just waiting for whatever they can get. Banelings don't need any escort, they can do whatever they want. We see Banelings in clumps gonna start rolling forward. Are there units in position? Force fields getting used. Good spells by MaNa to repel that round of Banelings. It's like wave defense right now for the Protoss player. We see some Banelings trying their luck at the 3rd, but so far a solid defense. In comes more Banelings, though, for MaNa. These High Templar are in trouble. They kill about 3 of the High Templar. We're going to need to see some good Psystorms from here on out for MaNa to deal with this. The Tempests are starting to come out, too, so MaNa will indeed have something that will completely zone this army away. Elazer will need Corruptors to help deal with this. And he does have Corruptors, right? No actual Corruptors. He committed all of his Corruptors into Broodlords. So we're going to need to see Elazer replace those if he's going to deal with them. You can try and Corrosive Bile Tempest. You can try and Corrosive Bile Void Rays, which we're also seeing MaNa go for. Or Infestors are a good option. So Elazer is getting that Pathogen Glands, wanting to make use of those. Alright, so these Lings are just hanging out here. We'll see. It looks like MaNa maybe sniffed this out. Has got an Archon actually just waiting out for him. Those Archons will indeed end up backing off, though. So far, MaNa's defense has been quite good, and it's really amazing how much of a passive game this is. It's been a long time since I've seen a ZVP turtle to this extent, for the most part. Zergs have been quite aggressive lately, meaning that the games haven't gone that long. Then again, so have Protoss players. MaNa, though, is just content building up Tempest. He's just getting up a ton of cannons, static defense. As I say that, he warps in 11 Zealots. I'm not sure where those were. It looks like they're probably going to be getting queued across the map. Infestors are now on the way for Elazer, though. They're going to be able to get some good spells off. They're very effective against Void Rays. Neural Parasite's good against Tempest and Archons. So we shall see how effective this is going to be. Okay. All of a sudden, MaNa is going to be stepping on creep with his army. He's got a lot of Archons, which will be good against the Banelings. He's got Psystorm, which is the complement for any Protoss army, and a ton of Zealots are going to be attacking into Elazer's Spinecrawler force. This is going to pull the Zerg out of position, while MaNa is going to be moving up towards the third base of his opponent. There goes one Fungal Growth on the Void Rays. That is a good start for the Protoss, or for the Zerg, pardon me. There's actually essentially 0 anti-air in the form of Corruptors for Elazer, so he's going to need something else. Looks like there's a Baneling counterattack, kills 8 probes. Amidst this, MaNa is really committing to this attack. Elazer's going to be making the defense with just Spores and Queens for his anti-air. Is that going to be enough? We're seeing Psystorms blanket down. They're going to be hitting some of the Roaches and Ravagers. The Void Rays are doing what they can, but there's actually simply too much anti-air in the form of these Spores and Queens. MaNa is trying to focus down the Broodlords, get what he can done. He's got a lot of Zealots coming in to reinforce, which are good against the Ravagers, and good against most units in this composition, actually. But looks like MaNa's air army hasn't been as effective as he planned. He's got injured Archons, one gets picked off. His Tempest may just need to retreat, and it looks like MaNa was able to get a base, but then he's going to have to go back home, and he lost a lot of forces there to Elazer, who mustered a defense without any Corruptors whatsoever. Now the Corruptors are starting to pop out. 8 Corruptors will help out against Tempest, and it looks like Elazer may just counterattack. He may have actually taken this game just by defending. That was a really wacky engagement for MaNa, just stepping that far onto creep. Looks like the Zerg player is going to set his sights towards the 4th base of MaNa, or the 5th base, pardon me, but there's too many Corruptors in the sky. Tempest simply do not trade well against Corruptors. The Void Ray is going to do what it can, but the problem is the Infestors on the ground will shut that down. There's not even that much on the ground for Elazer, just some Roach Ravager, but it is more than enough, it seems, to clean out whatever the Protoss player has. GG gets called. Elazer is going to take the match after MaNa's bold attack fails. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you want to hang out, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, and then, of course, consider becoming a member to support this commentary on the channel. It does go to improving the setup, and then there's also various perks you can get. I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. This has been LaughNgamez.